Looks like Gary Lewis was first.
Hey, there we go. We're live. Well, it's Tuesday night, folks, at 6 p.m. So that means it's time for Beer, Blades, and Beards. I want to thank everyone for tuning in tonight. We have an incredibly, wait a minute, special guest tonight. I hate trying to do this backwards stuff. And, we'll get to him in just a moment. Now, for those of you who are watching later on, I want to say thank you for that, too. Gary, looks like you're first, even though it's not showing me anybody live, but oh well, we'll get there. Billy Rogers, you're second. Good evening, brother. And we're going to start today with a funny thing. We're going to get to him in a moment. Guys, have you ever stepped outside your house, your place of business, whatever, and you see your landlord lost your rent check 4 months ago? Happened today. So we've started today off bad, but we're going to finish it really, really good because we got Gary, the HMFIC, the Bossman of Lafluer and Company Beards.
Hi,
Say
everybody.
hi, Gary.
Hi, everybody. It is Kermit the Frog here. No, I'm just kidding. Hey, everybody. And Chris, thanks for having me on. Great to talk to you again, and looking forward to tonight. As I was telling you on the, just before we started the live stream, some days you just need to start the day with a shot of whiskey. Sounds like this morning was that.
I've got kids, so I drink cheap.
Fair enough. There is cheap whiskey out there, FYI.
Oh, I know. I know. Hey, Mitch, welcome. Ryan C., welcome, brother. So, Gary, I know I've talked to you before, and I have done reviews on your amazing product before, but introduce yourself to everyone.
What's up, guys? So my name is Gary Lafluer. Not my actual last name, but I go by my middle name outside of the professional world. Privacy purposes. Live in Dallas, Texas with my wife, Jenna. Recently married back in December. And back in May 2018, I was on the road a lot for work. Started a hobby of making beard oils in my apartment. Really wasn't looking to make income off of it, but was just really interested in, making something that I enjoyed just because I had a lot of mixed experiences with beard oils, with texture and absorption, but also with the scents, and really couldn't find a scent profile that I really liked. And so bought all the equipment, or as we would say, CapEx, and bought all the materials to make the beard oil, started messing around with different formulas, and also got a hold of a few friends since I was making all this stuff, and just asked them what scents they were looking for in their beard oils, and really just started getting feedback from them with each batch I was making. Towards the end of the summer, I think we hit 250 samples. That as I was sending out samples, the number of people that asked for samples grew. And so by the end of the summer, it was 250 samples. Gary Lewis has a question, looks like, for what the carriers are. I typically stick with, I typically use, I think, 7 in total. Olive oil, sweet almond oil, fractionated coconut oil, wheat germ, aloe vera, and then jojoba or jojoba. Whatever. And jojoba, yeah. The one I can't pronounce. And then vitamin E oil are my 7 carrier oils. Question that Chris asked earlier, I think before we had started, one of the key things that I really enjoy with the small batch type work is I can typically get a lot of good feedback and try and improve the scent formulas. And one of the pieces of feedback I've gotten from Chris a few times is, the scent out of the bottle that I typically work with can smell a bit strong, but it becomes more subtle, after you wear it for a little bit. Do I have preservative in it?
Gary's.
Oh, go ahead. No, so the aloe vera oil, and I didn't know this before, but you know how aloe vera oil is typically like a gel or some type of goo? There's a way that you can get it where it's actually mixed with basically a sweet almond oil or some type of oil, and it's not some sort of preservative or and that's going to burn going
And
down.
that was for earlier with the vodka, Gary. Only the first couple shots are painful. After the first couple, it's good.
Feels less painful after the fact. No, the nice thing with
Yes, it does.
it's just your air or the breath that you breathe out becomes flammable after the fact. With the aloe vera, and again, kind of back to the preservatives, with vitamin E oil and the wheat germ oil, that typically, from what I've been seeing with my own oils and also just from what I've been reading, that tends to make the shelf life last fine enough. You know, a year to two, I think, is what I've been reading. So I have a couple bottles that were basically the first ones I ever made, and I'm seeing how those degrade over time as kind of, my test. So I'll know when to pull stuff off shelves if I have old inventory, if you will. But yeah.
Well, I've had this one. Yeah, matter of fact, your blend, the Gary,
Mm-hmm.
for what, about a year now, and I haven't seen any problems with it. It still comes out smooth as ever.
That's
Hasn't
awesome.
really done anything bad to the beard. And I really got to say, your oils are sneaky good. There's been a couple times, like I've noted in my reviews, where it's like, what the? But it just mellows out beautifully. It's not overpowering, and it has a good staying power.
I appreciate that. Yeah, one of the things that we're trying to work on with this next batch that I'm making is basically trying to make it so the oils don't punch you out of the nose, out of the bottle. But one of the reasons why they are a bit strong coming out of the bottle is the scents of wheat germ oil and also olive oil are kind of strong. So overcoming those carrier oil scents typically takes a bit of the fragrance. Not sure what the perfect solution is just yet, but I have some, they call it refined wheat germ oil that I'm going to test out. It's supposed to be odorless. I don't trust it just yet, but I want to see how it is compared to regular wheat germ oil. So we'll see what happens.
I think it was, I want to say the Dimitri for some reason. That one really just was like a big punch in the face right away. It was just weird right out of the gate because I think that's the one that has bourbon and lilac for some reason.
Yeah, that's bourbon, mahogany, and lilac. It's actually named for my buddy who produced the olive and wheat germ ratios. Safest way. That's a good call. The biggest thing, like, I'm concerned about with the carrier oils, is like reducing to certain ratios, is the texture and the absorption. Because when I first, like, I think it was our 7th batch, we kind of got that, I don't know, we found kind of that perfect texture, that absorption that we were looking for. But that's something that we'll definitely look into doing. Cherry
And
kernel
Billy,
and Obsidian.
His scent blends are definitely interesting than anything else I've ever tried before. They are. This is the only way I can put it because he's been in like an office guy his whole life, and if you've worked in that no offense,
No,
if
it
you've
is.
worked in that cubicle area, when you got someone's wearing something that's so overpowering that you can smell them from like 80 feet away. That's not his oils. They are just sneaky freaking good.
Yeah, everybody's dealt with some coworker who did something in their morning routine where they put on all this Axe body spray, and there's nothing that you could do to not smell them, and that was what we were trying to do with these.
And yeah,
That's
Billy,
good.
that lilac with bourbon is actually good. It's actually really good. Just shake the crap out of it. The first time I didn't shake it enough like I usually do, and that was the punch in the mouth. But the other times I used it, just mellow and just absolutely beautiful.
So someone made a comment about the scent profiles. So each of the oils that I have are actually named for the friend who gave me the input while I was starting out. And, so mine is named for the scent profile that, I was kind of looking for. I was looking for a deep, rich kind of Cuban tobacco bourbon blend. And then the coffee was kind of the perfect addition to make it just really dark. Dimitri, he was my buddy from grad school. He actually got ordained so that he could marry my wife and I. He's the lilac, bourbon, and mahogany. So that's the Dimitri.
And speaking of that, there's a question about the Dimitri.
Lilac with a bottom shelf bourbon or Pappy? Well, Dimitri has a better taste for the finer things than I do, so we had to go with a good bourbon. I often tell a lot of my friends the finer things are lost on me. So recently changed carrier blends. That's a fair point, Gary. Yeah, we're definitely going to mess around with it because, I have the time to do it now. And this endeavor for me was more of a passion.
Sorry. And that explains his cuddle buddy, Steve, but still.
Nice.
Oh, hey, Camo, I didn't see you sneak in, brother. Welcome to the show, man.
Yeah, Camo, you're married, man.
All right, guys. Now, Gary, this one over here, not the other one, not G. Lewis, but this one, has graciously agreed to do some giveaways tonight. We're going to give away one right now.
Cool.
So seeing how I'm just seeing like 5 people in here, let's just do this just for fun. The usual internet prioritizes your answer, only enter once. That wonderful stuff. So let me get a random number generator pulled up. Because his stuff is freaking awesome. Trust me, guys. It is really, really awesome. So let's get this going. Hey, Andrew. What's going on, brother?
What's up, Andrew? And Camo, tell her right before you run out of the house.
Nice. Alrighty, guys. So, Gary's already in there. I don't care. Give me a number 1 to 5 and go. It always takes a moment with this for some reason.
All good.
Gary, I think Bearded Life is trying to do a live stream on Tuesdays on Instagram. Oh, hey, stop. We already got a winner. That's the first one I saw, and that's how we do it.
All right.
So, Billy, I don't know if you can see it too well, but it is number 3. So, Billy, what you're going to want to do is get a hold of Gary over at, not G. Lewis, but, our guy over here, on Instagram. It's what, Lafluer Beards?
Yep, Lafluer Beards
and,
for Instagram.
Yep, and he will hook you up. But like I was saying, G. Lewis, I think Bearded Life is trying to do a live show over on Instagram. And I know a lot of people all of a sudden are hopping on Tuesdays, so I don't care. I'm pushing through and having fun. They don't know what they're missing here.
Absolutely.
And Maximus, brother, thank you. Okay, so I asked you this one before in our Instagram live chat, and I'm going to hit you with it again. Now, I know being a small batcher, who's, a little scrappy insurgency that you are, trying to come up, I know there's been days where you just want to say, screw it, I'm done, walking away. So what is that one little thing that keeps you driving forward?
So, answer really hasn't changed. It's been refined a little bit, I'd probably say, since being married. But so there have just been a lot of people who have, it always surprises me how many people have supported me over the years. And, I firmly believe that the successes I've had, we're a Texas-based company out of Dallas, Texas. Even growing up, there were people that wanted me to succeed. So even the last 2 years of high school where I was couch surfing on my friends' couches just because of the environment at home, I had a place to stay. I had a roof over my head because people cared enough. And, I was able to go to school, even though I, wasn't well off. And, I got a scholarship, thankfully, to University of Detroit. My first job was as a result of a buddy of mine, out of college. And that is what brought me to Texas. And, through the starting of the company, the support I've gotten from friends who really didn't want anything in return. They just, wanted to see this company succeed. And it really it's been very humbling, but also very awesome. And so to answer your question, the reason why I never will hang up the Spurs, even though this is purely a passion project for me, I don't, if there's income from it at some point down the line, great. But I won't hang up my Spurs just because, I feel like I'd be letting them down, but I'd also be letting myself down because I know that this can be something that I'm proud of at the end of the day. So
nice, brother. Nice. And I can't resist this one. Steve, if you're late, you might want to talk to Gary. It's not my problem on this channel, bro. That's all I'm saying. Should have used protection, but you're fine.
And East Dallas, Andrew, we used to live in Cedars District, which is just south of downtown, but we live over in East Dallas now.
And guys, I will say this. I have to give Gary credit. When I did the first review on him, I had so many questions after I got done reviewing it. And it was really surprising to me to have a company reach out like he did and go, we would love to have a video chat with you or a phone chat, whatever's easiest for you. I'd love to answer all these questions that you have. And he just blew me away in that hour that we talked on Instagram. He seriously had every little thing that I was like, what the hell, what the F? And he had answers for everything right away. For the beer product.
They did a Fruit Loop snack like Caleb used, same name.
Okay, Billy, when you say another co-advertisement for their beard products, are you talking about Lafluer? Because the only other one I know who has Fruit Loops, I think, is Anointed AK. So just to clear that up. And yeah, like Steve said, not Steve, excuse me. Wow. Gary, sorry. You're going to double charge me on my next order, but yeah, the names aren't proprietary. I know that I've seen other companies use some of the same things.
Yeah, we went through the trademark process for our logo, and it took a little less than a year, I want to say. No, it was a name with word bear or with bear in it. Okay.
So, guys, I know I showed it earlier, but I want to show it again. I love how they bottle their stuff. It took me a little bit to get used to the Euro dropper that they use because I've only seen like our restrictor tops, and their Euro droppers are pretty freaking amazing. When you turn them upside down and it comes out with like a little drip. And the other part that really, truly set them aside for me, if you look at the wax dipping on the top of the bottle.
Yeah, that wax dipping was just something I kind of had pictured in my head that I wanted to do. So when I was looking at different cap styles, that was one of the reasons why I went away from the, you typically see the dropper pipettes. But Chris, if you could show how that thing drops, because I have something funny to show you once I describe kind of that process.
All right, guys, let's see if I can get this. That one's a little faster tonight, but
there we go. So that's what they're supposed to do. But Chris knows the story because when I first talked with him, I kind of talked about, we had gotten these Euro dropper tops, and I had ordered like 1,000 of them and tried it out. And the oil wasn't coming out. So basically I had to go through, personally unscrew all the orifices, separate those into another container, and then I'd have to drill them out. But what you just had with yours, I think you've shown a couple of times where like the bottle, you kind of have to shake it a little bit. Yeah. And in theory, you're supposed to be able to just do this and it just drips out. So I actually did find the right size, and these are all freshly drilled, and it takes a 3/32 inch drill bit, I found out. So going forward, we won't have that issue anymore. But I think I was able to watch was it the most recent Blade Runner while I was drilling those out, and probably a second film. But yeah.
What the?
I'm naming my first oil. Nice.
Those. When Gary kills you, Steve, I didn't see that. That's all I'm saying.
That's awesome.
And Andrew, I'm pulling up your thing right now. If you place an order with him, you're gonna love the box it comes in. Seriously, like the little the stuff he puts inside the box, it really reminds me of like the old timey like bootlegger stuff.
Oh, it's
where like they have the bottles.
Yeah, it's like the wood wall Excelsior, I think is what it's called. Yeah. I was really actually I think I have one of them right here because I was messing around with it. But yeah, you got the Excelsior on this. We're working on improving the box design a little bit. So that one of the criticisms you had for me previously, Chris, was like just redundancies across, website and Amazon. And so that's one of the things we've been working on, is basically consistent messaging or messaging of our brand, what's important to us, but trying to reduce some of that redundancy. So our labels have a lot of the information that's already on the box, and it's very tiny writing. So we're working to make the labels prettier, but also less of the clutter that's already on the box. So
I will be honest with you, Andrew, if you're going to order between those two, the Lindsay was my first, and that was my first love with the Lafluer Co. I still love that scent to this day. I really, truly do.
Yep. We're working on the Bradley because the bourbon scent that we use with the Bradley versus the Lindsay, the Gary, and the Dimitri was a little bit sweeter, whereas the other bourbon scent that we use for the other ones are a bit more smoky. And the Bradley is a favorite of significant others, but it's a little sweet because it's bourbon, lavender, and vanilla. So we're trying to, we're currently working on cutting a bit of that sweetness by switching to the bourbon vendor that we have with the others. Because everything's made in-house here anyways, and it would reduce the costs by just going to a single bourbon vendor or bourbon scent vendor versus having two separate ones. But I think my hypothesis is that it would improve the actual scent overall by cutting that sweetness. So that's what we're kind of working on at the moment.
Nice. And I know you got some other neat little projects out there because I caught that blurb that you guys are working on bombs now.
We are. First thing I'm focusing on is the texture, which is it's difficult to get right, just because I've had a few that I've really liked, and then I've had a few that I really didn't actually despise. I think I told you this story, Chris. So when with my last firm, so for the people that don't know, my day job for the past 2.5 years have been consulting for banks and financial services. So I was on the road for quite a while. Yeah, Beardius Maximus. That one was the last one for us to finish. My buddy Lindsay actually lives out in the Seattle area, Chris. So I was on the road a lot with my last job, and I'd be basically gone Monday through Thursday, and I'd get feedback from him, say on like a Friday. and I'd work on it, over the weekend, and then I would send him out samples on Monday while I was heading to the airport. And prior to launch, that was the last one that we finished up, and I'm really pleased with how that one finished up. But yeah, there was one time where I think I had to go to Little Rock, and I legitimately brought nothing that I needed. I forgot my beard oil, I forgot my balm, my pomade, so I had to rely on the local Target. And there was one beard balm that I got there, and I've kept it because of how bad it was, just so I know what not to do when I do the balm. So I'm a bit slow when it comes to the product development. Yeah, that one.
Sorry, I just.
Go ahead.
When you're like, I'm a bit slow, I go back to, it puts the lotion on the skin. It puts the lotion on the skin.
Yeah.
And yes, guys, I actually said that during one of his reviews, because I love how he put in there, there's no animal testing of his products at all, except on himself. And after I had my first conversation with him, I kind of got his humor a lot more, so I had to run with it a lot more.
Yeah, there's a lot of Monty Python in my sense of humor. There's a lot of dad jokes, a lot of that's what she said jokes, and unfortunately, because I've mostly been doing this on my own, a lot of that humor kind of comes out where it shouldn't. Yeah, Beardius, that's one of the sticking points for me has been, my friends have been my family since I was a kid. Anytime I've ever needed anything, they've always been there. Does anyone have a recommended pomade? I don't know of a lot of small brands that do it, or I haven't tried a lot of small brands for pomade, but I do like Ruzel, I think, I can go grab the tin if you'd like, and I can show. But I don't know of any really small brands of pomade.
No pomade here, so.
Hey man, you could slick that up.
The only pomade that I use, and Gary Lewis, just plug your ears for a moment, is Johnny Slick's organic stuff, because it doubles for like a light hold, really nourishing beard balm. And it's a veteran company. I like to support those first. So.
Yeah. There was a time period where I've had this haircut for like 3 or 4 years now, but before that I would shave my head just because it was easy to do and cheap. But a couple times doing it and getting sunburnt on top of the head and not realizing it until you get in the shower and you got that stream of water that hits it and you're like, I was done with that. So
yeah. Dirty Harry, I see you down there. Welcome to the show.
This is a 44 Magnum, most powerful gun in the whole world. Has power to take your head clean off.
Can't make movies like that anymore. People just get too offended about everything.
Oh, plus,
Clint was the master.
Yeah. I remember watching the spaghetti westerns as a kid because my parents.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, man. If you ever watch some of the commercials for those, they're so bad, but the films themselves are so good.
That was the joy of it, You didn't watch it for the quality acting. It was just, wow, really?
Yep. Yeah, but the quality of the acting really wasn't that bad. It was just, Clint Eastwood was obviously an awesome actor, but is an awesome actor. I don't know if he still does much.
Not much. He's more behind the camera now. But
that's what I figured.
What was his last role? Where he's the old man trying to help the kid trying to get out of a gang? I can't remember.
Gran Tarantino.
Thank you. That was freaking awesome.
Gran Torino.
Torino, yeah.
Torino, yeah. It was based out of Michigan. And I remember it was out of the Detroit area because when I lived in Detroit, I believe they were filming it, if I remember correctly. Gran Torino, yeah, Beer just got it.
Oops. Grabbed the wrong one, but oh well. That'll pull up there. Torino, there we go.
Yeah, I accidentally.
I agree with Billy.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Good versus bad versus Good, Good Bad and the Ugly, I think, was my favorite spaghetti western.
Those are just, I don't know. It's like I remember those on Sunday mornings. You come home from church, and if it wasn't in my house, Abbott and Costello, you had spaghetti westerns.
Yeah, yeah. My dad raised me on Monty Python and the Holy Grail. I
Oh,
remember he was stationed in Virginia Beach when I first saw that, and I was like 3 or 4. First time I ever watched that. So my sisters and I can quote most of that film.
I mean, most of that film was filmed in like a 3 square mile, excuse me, a 3/4 square mile area. I think they said. Like the castles, they were like they have a scene on top, then they go down below, then they'd be like over here in the field, then they're over here. I just the freaking
Camelot.
holy grail.
Camelot. It's only a model.
I mean, my God, look at the big shot. Look at the bones.
One,
That movie's
2, 5. 3, sir. 3. Just but a scratch. Just a flesh wound.
And yeah, Camo, I gotta agree. That was a good one too for everybody, especially with like the old fogey crowd. Space Cowboys was freaking awesome when they did that.
Yeah, because that had James Earl Jones. It had Clint Eastwood. I forget the other two that I had in it. Shit.
Tommy Lee Jones.
No, yeah, I was thinking Tommy Lee Jones, and then who are the other two?
James Gardner. James Gardner. You had Clint Eastwood, James Gardner, Tommy Lee Jones, and I know I got that movie around here somewhere, but I'm not grabbing it just for that, and I'm not even gonna Google it. So still,
I know, like I have my smartphone in front of me, and it's like I'm not gonna look at that. Yeah, well, the Monty Python guys passed away a couple weeks ago.
yeah, those are just a tragic loss. I mean, just everything that they did. If you even look at like how they got away from the Monty Python, but most of them did A Fish Called Wanda, and even that was just absolutely hilarious. Where you had Kevin Kline, Jimmy. Yeah, you know, it's Ken coming to kill me.
Clint, James Gardner, and Donald Sutherland. Oh my God!
There you go. Thanks.
Speaking of
Donald, Camo got that.
Speaking of Donald Sutherland and Clint Eastwood, Kelly's Heroes. You remember that one?
Oh yeah. That was an ensemble cast from all get out.
Yep. Yeah, I think they had Don Lemon. I think was in that.
Yeah.
That one was a good one. I remember watching that as a kid. But
I mean, Sutherland is that weird tank driver. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. Yep. Exactly.
All right, guys, we're gonna do another giveaway just because Camo Cam got that and just answered everything. Yep. So he's got another oil to give away. We got a bunch in here. What I'm gonna want you to do is pick a number from 1 through 6. Don't do it yet. And we have to put out all that little stuff. You know, the internet prioritizes your answer. Please only enter once, and you know, whatever one I see on my screen first, that's who we're going with. So if you guys are ready, number 1 through 6, go. Wow, it's just amazing how many movies you like that I grew up on and love, and I still got around here on DVD. Yep. I knew I liked you.
Yeah, man. I remember. So my dad apparently saw Monty Python and the Holy Grail when he was at the Air Force Academy, and he remembers seeing it in the theater, and some of his classmates like heard him laughing and knew that it was him. And I was just like,
nice, Holly, nice. Whiskey and hardtacks. I'd go, all right, stop. We got a winner. Stop. We got a winner.
There we go.
Andrew, buddy, get a hold of this man. He's got a present for you. You already know where because you were there earlier. And Holly, nice number. Nice number. Go 1 through 6, and what does she do? Go on, pull it up.
66.
Oh, Holly, I love you. You're awesome. She is awesome. It's one of those when she first started going into live streams that everyone's like, "Oh crap, there's a girl. We got to behave," and she's like, "No, I'm one of you. Shut the fuck up and keep moving forward." You know.
That's awesome.
She's here for the guitars.
Yeah. One of them's actually in the shop right now, but one of my guilty pleasures are white guitars. So they're hard to find sometimes, but you can get them every here and there.
Really? You'd figure that'd be a common color.
For some, there are like Fender and Gibson more often than not, but from what I understand, they had to shut down the entire line for quality control because you can't have any color mixed with the white. So that can be a pain, but I also play like lower tune stuff, so I need certain scale lengths. Yeah, exactly, whiskey. So like the one furthest over that way, I had to have specially made by a company called Mayanis, which is out of Poland. That was the first guitar that I got when I came back into music. Because I did music for a long while, and then when I started focusing on my professional career, kind of stepped away from it, sold all my gear, and then back in 2016, found out about that brand and started getting back into it. So like most of my desk right here is all music recording equipment.
Nice.
So fun stuff. Everybody's got to have a couple hobbies.
Yeah, and you're married. You need something else to do, right? Other than hide from the wife, but
Oh, just get all your
newlywed. I'm sorry, you're still good. I'll talk to you about that more in a year.
Just get all your expensive stuff before you get married, right? So.
Especially like in my case where I got 2 kids when I came into this relationship, it was like, oh well, I used to be cool, now I'm someone's snack bitch. Yay!
Too true.
But I would not trade it for anything.
No, exactly. Yeah, I hear you. Yeah, Holly, I had some really good gear, and then like I sold it. 'Cause I used to play when I lived in Detroit, but during the financial crisis in Detroit, progressive metal, which is already a bit nichey, just there's no money in it. So in hindsight, just wasn't going to work out. But I loved it, and now I write stuff that it's kind of like the beard oils. It's a passion project for me. I teach myself different tunings, different like 6, 7 string, 8 string guitar. Trying to learn piano, but you gotta have a lot more time for that. Brand of what, Beardius?
And Holly, I'm putting this up on the screen. So just so you know, where is it? Holly, I have a box you mailed, so don't be surprised if it comes back to you filled with Cheerios, return to sender.
It might be a little stale.
Not saying anything, but maybe.
Oh, thank you.
And Maximus answered. Sorry.
Oh, guitar. Minez is my favorite brand. That's what that custom one is. If I were to say larger brand, Ernie Ball Music Man is probably my favorite, especially their John Petrucci series. Amps, I used to play a Crank back in the day, which was like Dimebag Darrell's brand. It just had a really clear tone to it, really clear distortion. But I like Kemper now just because you can basically, this thing's a digital amp. I can record direct into an interface with it. I can also hook it up straight to a guitar amp and it will work. And you can also mic up any guitar amp and it will capture that tone digitally. So you, in theory, don't need another guitar amp ever. So I like Kemper for that.
And Holly, you're not scaring me. You know the cuteness factor. You send me a rainbow duck, I don't care. You know where it's going.
Okay, you got to tell the backstory to this. I don't know this one.
Okay, started simple. Do you know who Dan C. Bearded is, the YouTube reviewer?
Wasn't he on a couple weeks ago?
Yes.
Yeah.
One of his best friends, we call him the mayor.
Okay.
And the mayor loves taking baths. And he kind of let that out there, and he talks about how he loves bath bombs. So Holly, being awesome, the parent company of whiskey and hardtack is Sweet Tea and Biscuits,
Okay.
sent the mayor
I love these names.
yeah, with 12, I think it was, rubber duckies that were unicorns. So the mayor had to take
That's
a
awesome.
picture in a bath with the bath bomb and the rubber duckies. So he won by having it kicked back. He had up the live stream of a Dancy Bearded thing. Well, I should say
Yeah.
his weekly stuff, the Majorly Bearded. And he's got the rubber duckies floating in the bath bomb suds. I'm like, you just won. You just
You've
You're the man.
won the internet. Yep. That's
Yep.
incredible. Using my D-string to restring my silk cutter. Hey, man, it's multi-purpose, right? So that works.
If it works, it ain't dumb. That's all I've said, and that's what I learned in the military. If it works, it ain't stupid.
A lot of my equipment, like when I was doing some of the beer oil production last year, like especially the stamper, I jerry-rigged some piece of equipment to like I drilled it out and then I put in like the stamper and like, hey, it works. Probably not OSHA approved, but it's okay. It's just me.
We've been there, had those days, where you're like, just go, it works,
Yeah, yeah. The wax, like that stuff bubbles and it goes everywhere and it burns. So, like, if and when I ever scale up production, where like I would need to bring on someone else, I'd have to find a safe way to boil wax. So otherwise, it hurts.
Camo,
Hey,
brother,
Cam.
thank you for coming in, and thank you for bringing your energy, brother. I appreciate it. Trust me, I do. Puppy's happy, isn't he? Or she, sorry.
Yeah, that's Morty. He's Mortimer is his full name. He's got like this old man bearded face, but Morty because I love Rick and Morty. So
Nice.
hey, bud.
I haven't watched a lot of that show, but when I get up in the morning and turn it on, yeah.
I'm a pickle. I'm a pickle, Morty. I'm Pickle Rick.
Nice. There we go. Gary on screen. I like that.
Nice.
We gotta specify now. There we go. Okay, guys, just because we normally like to keep it around an hour, and Gary on screen graciously agreed to do 3 giveaways tonight. We've done 2 of them. Here comes the 3rd. So we're going to keep it really, really simple again. Not a lot of people on tonight. Improves your odds. We're just going to go a number through 1 through 5. And the usual, like we've been saying, internet prioritizes your answer. Only enter once. First one I see. Okay, now we've got that fun stuff. Dirty Harry, hold on a moment. Guys, pick a number 1 through 5 and go. See if you can win, Dirty.
Main question is, did he pick 5 or 6? And do you feel lucky?
Yeah, exactly, right? Or what was it when he had, the orangutan Clyde? I can't remember his character, but I always remember Right Turn Clyde. Leave it to Holly to play within the lines.
Yeah.
Don's got to be so proud of you, Holly. I swear. Really, guys? 1 through 5? Come on. It's not that hard. I don't care. Guess again until we get it, just because it's towards the end and there's not a lot of people in here. Just keep guessing a number between 1 to 5. Hey, we try to do it fair. There we go. Stop. There we go. I knew someone would get it. Come on. Keep Back up here. Gotta love slow internet at times. Come here. There we are.
Curious. That
You
is
know what to
pretty
do?
epic.
Get a hold of him. Get a hold of him on Instagram, and he will hook you up. Now, guys, just remember you're getting this for free, so if it's not like overnighted to you, do not blow this man up. You will get your stuff. Trust me, you'll get it.
We'll get it. There was one guy. So all my stuff is fulfilled by Amazon, and we didn't know until I want to say November that we don't have international shipping because, surprise, we don't have a lot of international purchases. But one dude purchased out of Thailand. Like he was, I think,
Wow.
Canadian and living in Thailand and really liked our stuff. So like he ordered 3 bottles and I tried shipping through Amazon to get it to him. And the Gary's only in the Amazon warehouse. Like I have none in our home. But Amazon wouldn't ship it. So I had to order it to here and then send it out. Choice oil scent. So I'll actually, when you guys reach out, I'll give you a couple options, and then that way you can mull it over, think over what you want, and then I'll just ship it out to you. But yeah, it took like 2.
Shameless promo. Sorry, seeing how he said that. Check out my channel. I've got all 4 of his scents reviewed. If you want an in-depth look at them.
Yep. We have more, but I think we're going to focus primarily on the bourbon and Cuban tobacco-based scents, just because like those seem to be the people's favorites. Like the Gary, I think is the top seller right now, followed closely by the Bradley, and then Dimitri and Lindsay are both about tie. But we have a couple other ones, but they don't do as well. I think we'll probably do those in the future in smaller batches, while focusing efforts on, like I said, the bourbon and Cuban tobacco scents. But
Okay, now we're going to loop you back on track. Your Thailand story. He was in Thailand.
Oh yeah,
and
good old Thailand. Yeah, it took us about 2 weeks to get it out to him, just because, it's one of those processes that we haven't hammered out just because we haven't had to. So, the guy got a hold of me, or got a hold of our customer service email, and I responded directly to him, just let him know what the situation was. And in addition to his beard oil, I also sent out one of our comb kits, just because he was patient with us and kind of dealing with that hiccup. But yeah, Amazon doesn't ship international if you don't ask for it. So good to know.
wow. Well, yeah, that might explain what you have, like Amazon UK, Amazon Canada, whatever.
Yeah, I think we have
That's
access to Canada and Mexico, but we haven't done any sales out of there, so that's why we haven't expanded elsewhere. Plus, we're small batch. Like we're focusing on the U.S. right now, so it doesn't make sense to go worldwide just yet.
Guys, I'm telling you, you do not want to sleep on this company. I found them, and I hate saying it this way. I think I was pretty hammered on this stuff, surfing through Amazon for beard oil. I think I found them on like page 73. And I was like, I'm tired. That sounds interesting. Bye. And then that's what started my relationship with the flooring company.
Yep. My butthole was a little raw after that first review, but I appreciate you being nice to us after that.
Like I said, you blew me away by reaching out like you did. And man, you came to play in that, conversation. You were like, all right, fucker, let's do this.
In nicer terms, but like I told you in that conversation, like I do appreciate the feedback because it was actual stuff that was legitimate and stuff that I'm still working on to this day. Like there are things on the website that I need to actually have a good, legitimate, contact us page where it goes to our customer service email. And one of the things I want to build out is our wholesale page so that barbers, if they want products, can get a hold of us.
And yeah, Holly, that was on me, but still. Wait till your review. I've got something planned for you, my dear. Got something really good planned for you.
Well, the problem with
Hey,
using
guys,
that is the oil's for external use only, so you can't use it internally. Just so you
You
know.
can. It's just gonna be painful for a day or so, but you know.
I mean, it will legitimately your shit will legitimately smell like roses, or something like
Yeah,
it. You know.
it'll be different, guys. I gotta tell you, when you watch my first review of them, and you watch my like the second, third, and fourth, you're gonna see a different tone of voice and a whole different everything. That's one of those that I call him like one of my successes on YouTube because it's so weird. And I hope I never lose this feeling like when an owner of a company reaches out and makes, some kind of communication, you're like, he watched, cool,
Oh yeah, man, I've watched all of them. Like when you did it puts the lotion on the skin, I had to stop the video for a bit and just laugh. So it was like, oh god, because I could picture it. I was like, okay, I could be in a dog kennel and like people just like put the lotion on the skin. So yeah.
Not trying to scare you, Holly. I want to do something good for you, and I like trying to do things a little bit differently. God, how can I put it? When you review a company's product for like the 80th time, you feel stale. So when you get something new in that you can play around with and have some fun with, thanks, Steve. Yeah, I try to keep these light as possible and as humorous as possible. And letting my personality show. Morty, you're fine, buddy.
Fava beans are a nice Chianti. I'm guessing
I
that
see Holly sitting back there going.
we don't yet, but we actually did a podcast video, which I have cut up versions of it. But last March, a buddy of mine who's a sommelier came in from California, and we basically did this drinking game where he had to smell the oil and guess the fragrances in it, and then I had to do the same. However, the caveat is that we were drinking already. We were drinking, I think, the White Walker, which is Johnny Walker's Game of Thrones scotch. We were drinking that already and getting a bit toasted. And if either of us messed up, the one who messed up had to do a Smirnoff Ice, like chug a Smirnoff Ice.
Ooh.
And yeah, it was. I'm not a nice human being. Like, it seems like I am, but I often question why my friends are like still stay friends with me because I'm just not a good human being. But yeah, I have a video of that, and I'm working on cutting it up. I think the full version's on our YouTube, but
I think I saw that.
It's very long, so I'm trying to condense it a little bit so that it's more manageable and people will actually watch aspects of it. I think I won that challenge. I messed up twice. He messed up 3 times, but then I still had to chug the third Smirnoff Ice just because, yeah, it was awful. It was fun.
And Gary, just to make you feel better, remember, every group has to have that one asshole. So if you can't figure out who it is,
I'm that guy.
I wonder why your friends have you. I'm just saying, bro.
It's the truth, man. It is.
Every group's got to have that one person where you're like, yeah, this is Gary. Once you get to know him,
Yeah. I'm very blessed to have the friends and family that I do. I'll just say that. So.
Billy, I like that. Or we can take this another way, how you're all meek and mild and you get that first shot of whiskey, then you're like, let's go.
Well, everybody has different reactions to their different drinks, right? So like, if I'm drinking tequila, I become the fraternity bro all over again. Like, whoa, we're having fun. Whiskey, I'm more mellow. That's my drink of choice.
I cannot touch tequila anymore after Korea. Even the smell of it.
I have a buddy in what is it? Cleveland. He's actually the one the Michael is named after, which is Cedar and Earth. It's not a really popular son of ours because, oddly enough, the same individual prefers the Lindsay, as does his girlfriend. So fun story. But I went and visited them one Christmas, and he runs a bar in Cleveland called Edison's. It's out in their Tremont district, which is bar.
Yeah.
And I walk in with my roller bag to his bar straight from the airport, and he takes out this bottle from Vietnam. It was like this Vietnamese wine, but in the bottle were 2 scorpions and a cobra. And he pours it into a shot glass. He's like, kill it. I'm like, that's how this trip is going to go. So
Yeah.
Those are my friends. They get me back when they can. So
after living in Korea for a year and having soju, which is made with embalming fluid, and you're buying it on the market and you're seeing like snakes and spiders and everything else in the bottle, and these idiots are shaking it up and you see a spider floating through, I'm like,
nope.
I'm good.
Nope. Spiders are a no-go for me.
Oh, I hate the little fuzzy bastards. Oh, I hate them.
So when I was growing up, we grew up in that northern part of Michigan by Wisconsin. We raised horses. We had these spiders called orb spiders, where the body was like all big and bulgy, and like they would sit in the rafters, and you wouldn't see them till like night, but you'd just turn, you see it, and like that. Nope. So.
Yeah. See, no. Camel spiders in the desert, and then big frickers in Panama. No.
Nope.
I don't care who you are. You're a spider. You're in my house. You get squished.
Or you set the house on fire. That's the other solution.
Yeah, I mean, oh crap, Chris! I didn't even see you come in, brother. Chris Rayner, I am sorry, brother. Crap, you probably snuck in earlier. I didn't even see it.
I'm glad none of us like spiders, though, in this group. Looks like it.
Nope. And the worst part is being a dad with little girls who see, like, the daddy long legs crawling around, and they're like, ah! What the hell? It's like, just step on it.
No, there's this little spider that just, like, kind of came down in our kitchen, and Jenna, like, made the, wah! And I think I walked up to her with like paper towel. I'm like, this is how much I love you, and killed the spider. So I was like, yeah.
See, that's your job. Protect your better half. It's in your wedding vows. Kill the creepy crawlies, right?
I'll have to check and see if that was in the vows, but I'm sure it was.
Yeah, the ultimate spider death I ever did. You know those like electronic fly swatters where they look like a tennis racket?
Yeah.
It's like a portable bug zapper. I had one of those like coming right down from the ceiling, and it was over my beer. I'm like, you better choose carefully right now.
Not the beer.
It kept coming and poof. And look at that shiver. Wolf spiders. Yes, they are. Wolf spiders are just.
Yeah. Yeah.
Alrighty, guys. I know we're having a good time. We're coming up on that hour mark, and I've still got dad duty to do tonight. So I want to thank all of you for showing up on another Tuesday and bringing some great energy and great fun. I especially want to thank our special guest, Gary. It's good to have you back on the channel. You are welcome back anytime, brother.
Thank you, Chris, for having me, and thank you, guys. Looking forward to talking to you guys again, and having some fun in future chat/video sessions where I'll probably have some alcohol with me, and I'll be a terror to Mr. Chris over here. So, but thank you, guys.
Bring it.
And
I'm not scared. I've got kids. I'm ready to die. Bring it. I don't care.
But Billy, Andrew, and Beardius, make sure to get a hold of me, and we'll give you a few options for beer oils, and we'll get that sent out to you.
All right, guys. On that note, thank you so much. Tune in next week. I've got a special guest planned again. Cool. It is a fellow YouTuber, so we're just going to kind of talk shop and have some fun. But on that note, see you next week, guys.
See you guys.
All right. And it always takes a moment for some reason for me. When you click that little end broadcast in the top.
Yeah.
Here we go. End.